let's talk about visa processing now. So what's different and what other forms you have to use for that?
So for getting your actual visa stamp in your passport, if you're outside of the United States, you need to have an interview at the U.S. consulate. Again, recently there was this new rule that Department of State issued, saying that, for example, if you if you have ever had a U.S. visa, or you're from the country that qualify for ESTA and some other things, you can watch one of our previous videos. We went through really detail about this whole thing. So some people in this situation will qualify even for interview waiver, all right, and they will be able to get there. Yeah. But for example, saying if you don't qualify for interview waiver, you need to get the actual appointment, an interview, bring all your documents. And first thing to start with is completing the S160. This is application for non-immigrant visa. And we will not stop talking about that, because this application is very important. Because again, you don't know what you're gonna end up with. Right, and this application will affect your whole immigration history. So important thing is to always tell the truth, provide all the information requested, be specific, and have the copy. Please always make sure to save the copy of this application, because you might need it later on.
This is so important about being thorough. We have cases where people have other names they've used, they don't list it there. That's got to be there. But as Anya said, keep a copy. And the way they made the form is really hard to keep a copy. So before you submit it, take screenshots of all the pages. So you have records, we know what you said. So later on, if you come to a lawyer, we could make sure it's okay. Because once you put that DS-160 in the system, it's on, you're stuck with it and the information on there. And if later on, 5-10 years down the line, you apply for another status or some of the visa, they're going to compare. If it doesn't look good, it doesn't match something there, they can accuse you of fraud or misrepresentation. And deny the other visa category. We see this happen all the time. And it's not unusual. So be very thorough. Sorry to jump in there.
And the main things that we see, in this context, is like people not including their spouses, or they including their boyfriends or girlfriends as spouses. They don't include kids, or they include kids when they're in, vice versa, when they're not supposed to. They when they had military training, they forget about that they had military training, and they don't list it there. So all these things matter.
Yeah. And don't let someone else fill it for you and submit it, because a lot of times people that English even might not be good, or they just don't want to fill it out. They give it to a travel agency or some other friend to fill it out, and that person doesn't know what's going on, and they don't complete it. We just had one case where a sister of somebody filled it out for them, and that person had gotten a temporary divorce for some reason, and the sister didn't know and listed the marriage, and that creates problems later on down the line. It's just weird stuff pops up. So it's your life, you know it, you have to review it. There's ways to translate the documents and see in other languages too. Do whatever you can just to make sure the information is correct, because it will follow you for the rest of your life. And so you don't want to say something that's incorrect and have major issues. A lot of people don't hire immigration attorneys to help them in this process. That's a reality. And that's why we see problems all the time come about, because people don't take it as seriously as they should, because in other countries, a form is not that big a deal. But the US, it makes it a really big deal in immigration forms and could use any indiscrepancy against you. And they do all the time. So it's just something we see regularly.
Right. And I think, John, you wanted to talk about registering for the interview appointment.
Yeah, so every embassy does it kind of differently, but you will need to register. Once you do the DS-160, you'll need to register with the embassy. One is a postal system, so they know, like, once your case is done, if you give them your passport after your interview, for them where to mail it, but also to schedule an appointment, an interview with the embassies. For non-immigrant visas, most of the times, there's a website that they'll guide you with to go to, where you could choose a calendar date after you pay the visa fee. So you pay the fee, it opens up a calendar where you can choose a date to have your interview. So make sure to do that. So it's Form DS-160, and then you go and register with the embassy for postal location and also for the interview. And then eventually you have an interview date where you take your documents, the I-20, proof of funds, passport, and maybe other documents if you're bringing your spouse or children, your marriage certificate, their birth certificates to show you're really the parent. There may be more stuff even because of your unique case. If you had military service that you completed, you might want to bring that too. There's all these other nuanced stuff that could come about because of an individual specific situation, but you just want to be prepared. You don't want to go to interview twice. You just want to knock it out of the park the first time around.
Right. And one thing that I would like to add is that once you get the visa, right, this is not the end. You still have to be fly to the United States and get admitted, right, by CBP officer, by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And for F visas, specifically, you cannot be admitted to the United States earlier than 30 days before your program start date.
Yeah. And that's, you know, you don't get on a plane and try to come because you're not supposed to come, and they'll send you back. So be careful of that kind of stuff from popping up. It's a 30-day window before the first day of school if you're doing the student visa. Thank you for watching this educational program. To get the latest videos, click the subscribe button and the notification bell icon. Also, help us help the immigrant community by liking this video and sharing it with your family and friends. You can also find us on other social media sites like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitter, where you find the latest updates on immigration news, policy changes, and tips. Be safe and God bless. See you soon.